with a door, the best way to install a hinge, I like to hold on to the tail of the hinge here, and just hold on to that with one hand. And if you get the back side of the hinge just started in that hole, don't put it in too much. You'll get too much of an angle there, and then you'll have trouble. But if you just try to put it as flat as you can, and then using a rubber mallet, just get it started. And there you go. That's all there is to installing hinges. So you need to do that on all the doors, of course, and then we're ready to install the doors. The next step is to install the hinge plates. And on the hinge plates, if you take a look at them, there is a little arrow, and that little arrow will point to the front of the gable. And there's a hole in the back. So just make sure you install them the correct way around. It will just save you time to do it right the first time. What I usually do is I'll hold that door just in position, just so it overlaps just slightly on the shelf below or above. Then with the arrow pointing forward, I see where that hinge on the door will line up, and it should fall right in between two holes. And so that's where that hinge plate is going to go. And if we do those for all of them, then I know exactly where my hinge plates go, and I can put that door down now. And now, for all the rest of the hinge plate installation, I know exactly where they need to go. And snug those up to the gable. Now we can get the door back. And I usually put the tabs out, and I start in the top, and there's a little groove. You won't be able to see it, but there's little tabs there that you need to work underneath the hinge plate, and then just snap it into place. And then you can follow through with all the other ones, and that's as simple as that. And there we have it. And of course, we'll now need to adjust those doors. Once we get all the doors on, there's adjustment screws on the hinge that can adjust it this way. And on the hinge plate, if you just back off the screws just very slightly on the hinge plate, you can then push the door up and down for adjustment. But hopefully we won't need to adjust it much up and down if our cabinet is nice and level. The next step, what we're going to work on, is installing the door handles. And it's great to have yourself a template, a little jig to put on the handles. And I've made this up. It's very simple to make. The door handles that we provide, our stock handles, have a 96 millimeter hole pattern. And so the way you work that, this one actually can be reversible, so it can do both sides. And with this jig, the little pieces of wood here hold it into position for me. Then you need to find yourself a 5 millimeter drill bit. And this is an actual metric 5 millimeter drill bit, so it's not a standard bit that's close. And it's a brad bit. If you have trouble finding those, we have those in stock as well. So just play it on. And now you may have noticed I slowed down a little bit when I got to the other end, the other side, because I didn't want to blow out this hole too much. You want to make sure you're able to cover that hole up with your screw heads. So let's go ahead and put that in and get a handle. Put that handle on. and I'll tighten that afterwards. That's the first handle. And we'll do this door, so I'll turn my jig around. I'll hold it in position so it's exactly the same. And just make sure my fingers aren't on the other side. There we go. And so it doesn't take too long. You can go through a whole installation such as this and put on the door handles quite quickly.